Welcome to 𝐂𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐔. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time of 9:26 a.m. on Eastern Time on the last day of July, Ethereum closed $1,705, about 0.5% so far. Respect over crypto market on this Sunday morning so far, across the board is relatively flat to down. We're still consolidating at the respective non-substantive consolidated area, right? So we're just a hair below respect to the next level of support, which is 1750, or the next level down, which is 1650. So you can see that clearly we're in between levels, just consolidating, deciding which way we're going. And respect to it on the media front, I would say today, Sunday, and across from yesterday, I'll say we're not that active. We don't really see any direct negative or positive correlated news onto crypto. But we do see some negative news, which are more adjacent. So one, obviously, we've mentioned yesterday with respect to the takeover from JetBlue onto acquiring Spirit Airline, not Spirit. And that could obviously change the dynamic of travel, will subsequently increase the airfare due to their, I guess, monopolized type of dynamics. When you merge two airline companies together, they have a larger market power and market share onto changing the demand and supply of the cost of the airfare. That will increase the price of per tickets going forward, which is not something we appreciate. So I actually foresee this, despite it can improve the operation and probably the margin on a profitability perspective. I don't think people would appreciate this, nor the government would actually approve this, because of antitrust. You cannot really monopolize or dictate one industry versus another. Is the reason why there's an antitrust law being in place, right? In addition to that, I'm also seeing news coming out from the administration again. It seems like Joe Biden is tested positive for COVID again, and he's gonna start isolation again, despite there's no new symptoms. I mean, it is what it is. He has been traveling quite a lot, right? And despite you being well protected, there are still, a lot of opportunities for him to contract, this negative affectation, and knowing the fact that he's getting up there, right? So his immune system, is probably, not the best in comparisons to younger folks. So we'll see. And then some other news that I'm seeing is with respect to some news on the international level. Seems like China, in the respective factories in a certain region, seems like people in the factories are contracting an expected level of COVID in July, which has flared up quite unexpectedly. So it seems like there might be another outbreak, right? And on top of the fact that there are more news around like the monkeypox, obviously with Kathy Hochul, which is from New York, the government representative, has mentioned that that's a the monkeypox affectation and the spread is a national emergency. So that could be another negative affectation, right? And before I do the technicals, I'm just looking at the foreshadow perspective, right? It seems like with respect to the upcoming CPI report that's coming out, it seems like it's going to be laying somewhere around, if you could see it, I'm just going to highlight for us. So if you see the middle, it's going to be on August 10th, 8:30 a.m. on the Eastern Time. So if I look at that on the calendar in front of me, so that's going to be basically 2 Wednesdays from now. Okay, so this Wednesday obviously is the first week of August, and we'll see some transitional dynamics with respect to on the equity side, but that will obviously drive some buying pressure or selling pressure onto the crypto side as well. And then as we approach that in the subsequent week, on obviously the week of 8th, which we will dive into the CPI report, that will be in 2 Wednesdays from now, like I mentioned. Okay, so be aware of this. We'll see how the results of all of these earnings and obviously consumer purchasing behavior, combined with obviously the tension that we have among the ecosystem, will come out to be the number that we're marching towards, and we will also see the results from the fruits of the obviously the increase of the rate from the previous FOMC meeting, right? The 75 basis point, and the repeated one that we just saw from the previous FOMC meeting as well, right? So so let's just dive right into the technical. Exactly recording time of 9:31 a.m. on the Eastern time. We're 17:06 right now, so still right consolidated at the respective non-substantive consolidated level, but 1700 is a flat number, so that's what we're kind of gluing there. At the same time, on the daily, we quite extended for quite some time, for basically a month and a half so far. We are still getting blocked at around 65 out of 70, so we can clearly see there's a major resistance going on, right? Unless we see specific positive affectation onto either like a confirmatory news on the merge coming, or some sort of a macro dynamics that propels it upward. But do we see anything specific that will point this needle up? On top of the fact that we do have a relatively sizable wall that we have to kind of crack above to 1860, and then obviously to the next level 2000, right? So that's quite a sizable resistance that we have formed. So be careful. I think the like of actually selling down, crossing down first, and then crossing back up is a lot more likely. On the weekly, you could see that we have formed a golden cross. So seems like we have it came true with respect to the surge, which allow us to got to I believe up to 1770 last 40 hours so far. But that's about it. You can see that clearly on the RSI is already kind of cooling down right now. So it's not the most ideal in terms of buying around these levels at the moment. It seems like we are going to have some more resistance coming at 1750 all the way to 1860. So it probably makes more sense to be take a backseat right now, just watch until the daily and the weekly cools down. But the monthly is still obviously pointing upward. We still need to have some sort of a level of consolidation at the resistance level of 41 out of 70 on the monthly, right? And then recuperate from there. So again, on the weekly / monthly, it looks quite bullish, but on a daily, it needs to kind of consolidate a little bit first. And then daily, on Bitcoin, sorry, it's morning for me, so I don't know what's going on. My brain is probably fried right now from just working last night. So Bitcoin's at 24,000 right now, 23,500, but basically 24,000. On monthly, you could see that we're consolidating at the 40 out of 70. MACD is looking for cross up right now, so monthly looks fair, but not like significantly bullish, but it looks, it's definitely on the bullish side. Weekly is about to form a golden cross, so that's great. It means that we are going to see some buying pressure, and then we should ideally go back up to the next level resistance of 28,500, which is ideal, right? And on the daily, you could see that we have extended quite a lot for a long time, ever since on the 24th. Right, so we need to kind of cross down and cross up. You could see that clearly 60 out of 70 is a block, right? So you need to kind of break that. And what we need to do is basically go up to the, again, right, 26,600, all the way to the next great wall, which is 30,500 from here, okay? And then across the spectrum for all the other altcoins are quite comparable, right? Daily is quite, bearish, right? You need to kind of cool down first. Weekly and monthly both look quite bullish, so means that daily we should see some volatility as we shift on to August, obviously with respect to a near-term CPI report, and then we should see some healthy buying pressure ahead of us as we slowly recuperate back into the normal economy, or hopefully we will. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. The news are quite stale this morning, quite regurgitating, repeating. So hopefully it's helpful, and let me know if you have any questions. All right, take care.